Good evening, lovely people. It's been a while, but we are back. Welcome back to that Liverpool show. My name is Callum. I'm representing Team Coppish. I'm delighted to be joined by Stro, and Rams will be joined later by Bizzo as well. This is the Liverpool show. It's been a while, guys. How have you been doing?
Good
Good
man.
man, you.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Obviously,
Hey,
last time we spoke, we weren't in lockdown. Now we are in lockdown. Last time we spoke, we had a squad. Now we don't have a squad. No, it's been a bit mad. It's been a bit mad.
oi, gents, quickly before we move on, I think
Go for it, bro.
can we just have a minute of silence for Monster, please? Because for those that didn't see, he got absolutely destroyed and killed before. So this is his third death. So you got him out of there on the preview. I got him out of there after the show, and then he came back from it's like the Undertaker. He just keeps rising, and then Callum got him
Yeah,
back out of there again. It's like obviously we're owned by baseball owners. Like I don't think Fenway Park seen this many home runs on anything than what
no.
Monsters had in the past 6 months. So let's just hold a minute of silence. Dead homie to rest, and then we move
Wait,
on.
pour some liquor out. Pour some liquor out. Yeah,
Yeah, man, pour some liquor out, man. Like Chelsea fans,
yeah.
come get your man.
Now I got all jokes aside. Enough love for Monster. Again, I don't understand
Always, man.
how he came into the stream expecting to win that conversation. Like I was there, Rance was there. I mean, it was
It was
never
gonna
gonna
be
work.
peak.
It was never gonna work.
It was gonna be
Say that again.
peak. It was
Yeah,
gonna be
well, it
peak,
was,
bro.
it was. I mean, until Chelsea win something, and he like the thing is, he'll say things, but he'll never back it up. And then if you're gonna say something to me without backing it up, I'm gonna eat you alive, man. So it is one of those things. I mean, I've taken my L's on YouTube. Every YouTuber
Yeah,
takes an L, but Monster's starting to collect now to the point where it's like you start dishing some out, or else you're gonna fill up your cupboard with these L's, bro. So I don't know. I don't know. But let's get on to Liverpool. And boy, every week seems to be stressful, but this one has really taken the cherry in it. I mean, Trent went down in the Manchester City game with a calf strain. He looks like he'll be out for 4 weeks. And then obviously the news yesterday of Joe Gomez, who tore a tendon in his patella, underwent surgery today successfully. Boys, I'll be honest with you, I just that ripped me to shreds. Like when that news came out yesterday, I was deflated. Like I went on Coppish, did a video, but I was so deflated. So Rams, I'm going to start with you. What's your thoughts on the Gomez situation and where that leaves Liverpool right now?
I can't be asked. I can't be asked. What was it, Stro? It's about our 16th, 17th injury this season. Like
16.
And
oh
counting.
my god, Jesus, bro. We're dropping like flies, man. Like I honestly I have so
Mm.
much hope for this Liverpool team, but the amount of injuries we're getting is looking peak. It's looking peak.
It is. Stro, your thoughts, bro? Because I think Stro, it was you who told me
Yeah, it
actually.
was
You
me.
messaged
Yeah,
me
that's what I was
yesterday.
about to
Yeah,
ask
you
you.
broke the news. Because I thought I'm not gonna lie, Stro. When you sent it to me, I was like, Stro must be. It's not April. It's not April 1st, but he must be pulling my leg here to just get a reaction. And then the news started coming through, and I was like, Stro, talk to me. What's going on, bro? So shout out to you, Stro, for breaking the news. But what's your thoughts on it all now?
Yeah, because I can't remember how I found out about it like quick before like it started
Mm,
going everywhere, and I was just like, this please don't be true. Similar to you, and then
yeah.
obviously then it filters that there was one where it was potentially a broken leg, and then it came out it was actually his knee, and it's just like I was having arguments in the football terrace group chat, and they were misunderstanding what I was saying. So 16 injuries so far, 8 of them to key starting players. 8 key starting players in the 11, and 4 of them at the time were off starting centre backs. I've never seen this before from any team at this early stage. And listen, I get COVID's messed everything up, the lack of pre-season, the lack of real games and stuff like that. But all I kept getting back was, yeah, but United lost these players. I'm like, yeah, but over a season, I'm talking in this stint. And it's
Yeah.
like, obviously, I know it's 2020, it's just been a mess, but I'm frustrated more than anything because it's like when we lost Lovren. Don't get me wrong. I've had people like, oh, well, I knew you were going to have injuries. To this extent, like if you thought that we were going to have this
Yeah.
amount of injuries, ring me when I'm putting my lottery numbers on, so I can get the winning ones. Because like clearly you have a cheat code that I don't. But
Yeah.
I'm frustrated with Liverpool. They should have got a centre back. Matip is our only first choice fits actual centre back, and he's not played back-to-back games in the past 3 years. That's awful.
Boy, Stro, I'm not gonna lie, you said a lot there, bro. The thing is, for us to be sitting there saying Matip's our already fit centre back when Matip is our least fit player, not just centre back, our least fit player, it's scary. It scares me because it's like I watch Matip play, and whenever he plays, he's usually very good.
Yeah, he is.
But it's few and far between. He's not reliable, and he won't stay fit. He doesn't know how to. It might be his fault. It might not be his fault. He picks up injuries for fun, and he's been like that since we signed him back in 2016 we signed him. It's been 4 years of this now.
Cal, the stat says it all. He's not played back-to-back Premier League games in 3 years.
Has he? Are you sure that's a stat?
I'm stat man. I'm telling you. You can go and find it. I promise you, I'm not making it
You
up.
might be right, because I'm thinking about the 18-19 season where he won the Champions League. But I think you might be right, because he was alternating between him and Lovren, wasn't he?
That's scary. So and this is where my frustration lies. As Premier League champions, we have to conduct ourselves as champions. I was the most critical of Manchester City for not replacing Company. I said it from a third eye view. I've said it to you. I've said it on Football Terrace. I came for Pep. I have to keep the same energy because that's just the way I am. Liverpool needs to hold this smoke. Like if I've got that stat, you've got that stat. You know that Matip isn't reliable when it comes to his fitness. Joe Gomez, I love the kid to death. His potential and his ceiling is through the roof. But he's had 4 major injuries already. He's 23 years old. You know that he's going to pick up an injury or two. So when we let Lovren go, which I agreed with, I thought it was the right move for him. It was the right move for us. You've got to go and get a centre back.
Yeah.
I do not want to hear this whole we've not got the money, because what people don't know is what's unique about Liverpool's kit deal is, so when, for example, you hear the phrase of, you pay for that money with kit sales, that was never really the truth, because you sell your rights to Nike, to New Balance, to Adidas, you'd get a flat fee and they'd own your rights. With us, we get a percentage of every Nike sale that we get. So effectively, if we get a centre-back of Upamecano, he actually could pay his transfer fee. If we were to get an Mbappe or someone like that, we could pay that back off his transfer fee. So we're actually in that position. When you hear that phrase, we're actually in that position. Just go and get a centre-back. We can't be going into the season with this.
Yeah, the only thing I will say to that is I don't think any of that money or that percentage of money comes in until the end of this season. So, I get you, but for me, there's still no excuse. There should have been a centre. The moment Lovren left, we should have been hearing names, serious names touted about saying this player's coming in. Like we were loosely linked with Ben White, Upamecano, the player in Italy. I can't remember his name.
Was it Romagnoli?
No, not Romagnoli. The black defender.
Skriniar.
No, not even. Yeah, Skriniar we got loosely linked with. Evan and Dicker. Like we got loosely linked with loads. Yeah, Rudiger we got linked with at one stage, but we didn't sign a centre back. To me, it's criminal, and dare I say it, we're paying for it now. We really are. And again, even if we had a 4th choice centre back or another centre back we bought, we'd be down to 1 centre back right now potentially. But you know what? It's still better than nothing. Like as things stand right now, we're looking back and we're saying Reece Williams is going to have to be fast tracked, or Nat Phillips, who's hardly played any football for Liverpool, is now going to have to be the first or choice second centre back. That for Liverpool standard, that's criminal in my opinion. So I'm just going to ask you both straight. With this Gomez injury and the fact that he'll probably be out for the season, is that the end of our title hopes this season to retain the league?
I'll let Ron go.
Thanks, Drew. When I think about it, it starts to feel like it's going away, like the hope is going away. But I'll say it again, yeah. If there's any team that to defy the odds, it's us. out of anyone in this Premier League, it's us. If anything goes, like, if shit hits the fan, we're normally the ones that comes up trumps. Like, I keep on holding on to it, but the more I think about these injuries, the more that hope starts to fade away. So I'm still hoping.
Stro.
Listen, for what I don't understand this, for whatever reason, at the beginning of the season, Manchester City were favourites to win the Premier League. Cool. For me, it was us. Look what we've done for the past 2 years. We should have been the favourites.
Yeah,
the Van Dijk injury kind of leveled it out a bit between us and City, because then it's a kind of a fair or an even playing field.
Yeah.
Now, there's no way on God's green earth that we're favourites. There's a but. Think of Olympiacos. Think of Istanbul. Think of Dortmund. Think of all these moments when you never expect Liverpool to pull something out. FA Cup, West Ham, Cardiff. All these moments where you never expect Liverpool to pull something out, they look dead and buried. And somehow we get through it. Like that, similar to Ram, my only hope is that, because historically, we've been that team where whenever our backs are against the wall, push comes to shove, as a fan base, everything with Hillsborough, as a collective, on the pitch, off the pitch, is literally, we've managed to get ourselves out of it. That's my only hope. But if I'm being completely honest, I don't see how it's possible, given the centre-back choice that we've got, to retain it, given what we've got now. Now, don't get me wrong, in January, if we go out and we go out big and we're in the top 4, not far off in January, and then we go and get an upper Moncala, we'll go and get a good choice centre-back. And then obviously Thiago's playing regular games, Fabinho's back. It's a different story, but now, as we stand, the choices that we've got, the fact that we're trying to get Janmat on a free, like,
Don't,
Liverpool.
bro.
Oh my days.
That's not Liverpool.
Don't. Look, I'll be honest. Going into this season, I was quite adamant that we'd retain.
Same.
The Virgil van Dijk, I still was adamant that we'd retain. The injuries we had since then, I've got to be honest, I'm very worried. And I know you say it's in January, we could sign someone in January. I've got to be honest, I have a sneaky feeling we're not going to sign in January. I know everyone's saying we should, and it's undoubtedly real. I have a very, very scary feeling. I don't think we will. And if you look at it, so from now till January, I'm going to go through the list of fixtures. So Leicester's our next game. Then we've got Atalanta. Then we've got Brighton. Then we've got Ajax. Then we've got Wolves. Then we've got Midtjylland. We've got Midtjylland. Then we've got Fulham. Then we've got Tottenham, Palace, West Brom, Newcastle. And then 2nd of January is Southampton. We've got some very, very tough fixtures in that run between now and where we could potentially get a signing in January. And even then, if we say January like it's the beginning of January, we might not sign someone until the end of January. That's if we sign one player at all. Can this defence hold out until then?
So, Leicester's our next game, yeah?
Yeah. Vardy's licking his lips. Licking his lips.
The thing is, as well, is when you look at it, there's a bit of animosity in the Leicester game. So you look at how it ended at Anfield with the penalty, and then obviously the Perez and Robertson. Then the fact that we went there and ended their title.
Yeah, we spanked them.
4-0. The history with Rodgers and Liverpool and how that ended. If there's ever a time where Rodgers is looking at Liverpool and thinking, I can get one over on these, it's now. And then you look at Jamie Vardy, the form that he's in. Like, he's clinical this season. I mean, look at how many touches he had against Manchester City. I think it was like 4 and he scored 3. Like, the man's a joke. He's unbelievable. And then you look at our choices, Reece Williams, Nat Phillips. I'm sorry. I don't care how good they are at this point in their career.
Good enough.
Jamie Vardy's a different level. I, at no point, want to see any of them against Jamie Vardy. Like, it scares me.
I agree. Rams, your thoughts?
Yeah, I have to echo what Stroh says, man. Like, that pace and the movement that Vardy has. I'm so scared for the two of them. Like Reece Williams is a kid. He's a baby in terms of like, in footballing sense. Nat Phillips is a little bit older but hasn't got experience. He hasn't played at the top level against top strikers. So I don't know how we're gonna cope with it. I'm really hoping it's gonna be the front three doing their business. I'm actually worried for this game.
Yeah, I am as well. I mean, it looks as though that Fabinho will be back fit for this game, and obviously Matip seems like he'll be fit. So, as a partnership, Matip and Fabinho, what's your thoughts on them as a partnership? Rams, I'll stick with you for this one.
Look, obviously Fabinho has played centre back and he's played well. Obviously pocketed Werner in that Chelsea game. Matip, we already know his quality, but we haven't seen the combination together. So we have to hope that communication between the two of them is good. But as defenders themselves, they are very, very, very good defenders. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, sure.
It's interesting because you look at the best partnerships across the world in the Premier League historically and now. One stood out to be the vocal leader, and one. So, for example, you look at Gomez and Van Dijk. Van Dijk's a leader. Gomez is.
Yeah.
You look at Vidic and Ferdinand. Ferdinand was the talker. Vidic just. Do you know what I mean? Same with Bruce and Pallister, Carvalho and Terry. Matip's not vocal like that. He never has been. So then you look at Fabinho, but then it's like, how's Matip going to respond? Because it's like, well, wait a minute, centre back's my position. I play there, so it's like, how does he react to that? That's my big concern. Because you see when it was Gomez and Matip, Gomez stepped up and you could see him talking, you could see him guiding and trying to lead the defence in. It's gutting because apart from the mistake at West Ham, Gomez has been excellent since the Everton game. He really hasn't. He stepped up a level when we needed him to do because there was talks of us dropping him, and rightfully so because he hasn't been great. That's my main concern. But the only thing is, it's like I know Firmino started off as a defender, although it wasn't right back at Real Madrid, but he's got that defensive mind, and that's why for me he's the best, or he was the best defensive midfielder in the Premier League last season. But there's big concerns about that partnership.
One thing for sure this season, I think I told Stroh this. I think Henderson's going to play centre back this season.
Funny you say that. The super chat just states that as well.
And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Look, I love Henderson, but he ain't no Mateus, bro. He ain't playing centre back. I'm like, it's just I can't.
Well, did you see Klopp's interview? He was talking about different choices he's got. He didn't just name Henderson. He named Wijnaldum. He named Robertson.
I don't want to hear that.
Genuinely, Klopp named Wijnaldum, Henderson, obviously Fabinho, Robertson. I was like, we're not Bayern Munich. You can't just throw Alaba at centre back in.
Boy, I don't know. So obviously, there's talks around Yanmat at the moment. Also, there have been talks about Garay and Mascherano. The reason why these players are being mentioned is because they're available on a free. And if I'm correct, we can still acquire one of those players now. And they can play. Given those three names, Yanmat, Mascherano, Ezekiel Garay, which one of those would you take right now? Given the choice, I mean, none of them. All of them.
We need as many centre backs as we can. Take every single one of them.
I mean, it's a tough one. Mascherano sort of that nostalgic one. And the fact that he played for us, he was so good at Barcelona and good for Argentina. Has he still got the legs? Ezekiel Garay, people would be like, let's grab him. But he's just coming back from a bad knee injury himself. And then you've got Daryl Yanmat, who was just at Watford, and they let him go. Considering they went down, they could have tried to keep him, and they didn't try to do that. Is it just a case of you just close your eyes, spin around, and whoever you land on, that's the person you get?
The thing that concerns me is this Yanmat thing's come about as a referral from Wijnaldum. Now, could this be a perfect short-term stint, possibly. Could this be a Ryan Giggs, Dan James referral? That's what I don't want. That's my issue. So it's like, that's 50-50. Garay, great experience, Benfica, Real Madrid, but there's a reason he's not got a club. It's Adrian all over again. Adrian. Yeah. That's all I have to say. And it's like, like I said, Mascherano's the nostalgia one, but it's like, has he got the legs for the Premier League now? Like, imagine Vardy against Mascherano at this point, one-on-one. It scares me.
He played in China in the last couple of seasons, hasn't he? So he hasn't been playing in the top league, has he?
No, he hasn't.
That just adds salt.
He hasn't been for a while.
Bizzo's just texting his backstage.
Okay, let me grab him. Bizzo's about to end. Here we go. How's it going, Bizzo?
Hey. All right, lads.
Not too bad. How you doing, bro?
All right, yeah.
Decent. You've joined us not a great time, unfortunately, because we're just speaking about players who we could potentially go out and get on a free who can become a centre back. Just out of curiosity, how tall are you, bro?
I'm 6'3".
6'3". 6'3", did you say?
I'll sign a short-term deal if you want.
Yeah, I was going to say, you shouldn't be on the phone with us. You should be on the phone with Klopp and Mike Edwards right now. Yeah, I mean, we're just struggling, man. So moving on to January, and Bizzo, I'll start with you. I mean, we've been linked with Alaba, linked with Upamecano. Out of the two, who would you like to see coming in January and why?
Definitely Upamecano, definitely. I think he's classy. He played really well in the Champions League last season. I think his head's gone a little bit west when he was at the start of this season. I think he was kind of waiting for a move over the summer. I'm surprised no one really came in for him, but there's a lot of rumours going around, isn't there, that his minimum fee release clause is quite low. It's like 36, 37 million euros, which is an absolute steal. If that's the case, then I'd snap him up straight away. I think Alaba comes with a lot of ego. You can tell he's quite an egotistical player, and he's been at Bayern for a while as well. And it sounds like he wants out because he's not being given the right amount of money, which it's not what you want to bring into the team, is it? You don't want to bring some. That's why Thiago was such a good signing, because he wasn't making any demands. He just wanted a new challenge, whereas Alaba seems to be picking his next move in terms of how he's going to make the most money, and that's not the kind of stereotypical player we welcome with open arms, really, is it? In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that, but considering how long he's been at Bayern and considering he's been one of their best players, he might have a right to feel a bit aggrieved that he's not on similar money to some of the other bigger stars. Stro, I'll come to you next. Alaba or Upamecano?
The thing is, right, the way I'm looking at it is Liverpool have got money to spend. Like, we're not broke. Like, we're not.
We act broke sometimes, but we're not.
This is the frustrating thing, is we do act broke, and it's just like, this is not your last £1.50, like what you're playing at. Just go out and spend.
Yeah.
The way I'm looking at it is, and this is the realist, right? So, Matip, as I've mentioned already, hasn't played consecutive Premier League games back to back. Right. Gomez, we know he will pick up injuries, right? So there's two of our three centre backs down. Van Dijk, we don't know. He might not even be back at the beginning of next season. Like, it's actually worse than what he first thought. There's issues with his meniscus. So we're going to be missing him. Realistically, we need to get both. If, let's say, Upamecano's fee is 36, 37 million, you can pick up Alaba for the similar price that we picked up Thiago, 25 million, add-ons to 30. There's 65 million for two of them. Why not just go and do it? We spent 75 million on Van Dijk in December, and he was done in January because he played January 4th against Everton. Why not go out and start doing the deals now? Like, I probably sound ludicrous because I know it's Liverpool and we don't operate like that. Times must. Like, we cannot go into the second half of the season with the defence that we've got. We just can't. I'd get
agreed. The only thing with Van Dijk is we had to sell a Coutinho in order to get a Van Dijk.
I know, but like, I get that, but it's like we're champions. Like, just do something. Like, just be better. Like, you massively messed up not getting a centre-back. City then didn't go and do it in January. We have to learn from that mistake. Go out big in January.
I think it's an hard one. I think a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon of we should have signed an extra centre half. But at the start of the season, it wasn't great depth, but for me it was adequate enough. And no one would have thought after 2 seasons of Van Dijk being ever present that he'd be out for the entire season. You can probably get by with him out for a couple of months and Fabinho covering. Then to lose Gomez, Matip goes injured as well. It's all just a long list of injuries that you probably weren't expecting at the start of the year. And I think that the main focus in that transfer market, other than Thiago, was getting cover for that front three, which we've done, and we've done superbly. And that signing, if we hadn't signed Jota, then we'd be in a far worse position than what we are now, in my opinion. So I think.
But Biz, the thing is, Gomez is injury prone. Like, he's had 4 major.
I get.
So it's Matip.
Matip is massively injury prone. So I get, like, you are 100% right what you're saying, but we should have got if we weren't going to buy anyone, just keep Lovren until January. Then let him go in January.
Yeah, I understand that. I think a lot. There's a few things, isn't there? We were supposed to sign. We were supposed to sell a couple more players, and probably what we did as well, and that's probably contributed to us not getting anyone. There was Shaqiri linked with Real Sociedad, and other players have ended up staying when Wilson's ended up going out on loan instead of a permanent transfer. And I think if you sell them two alone, Shaqiri and Wilson, you're looking at 30-40 million, which would adequately get you a fourth choice centre half and a good one at that for that amount of money. So I just think with obviously what's going on, and it's just not worked out as they probably hoped it had. And I think they've put all their eggs in one basket in saying, let's get that front three covered with someone adequate, because until we signed Jota, we didn't really have anyone who could step in and fill the shoes of them three. And now we've got a player who's coming in and is challenging Firmino, who you wouldn't have taken out of that squad at all a year ago. If someone had said, "Oh yeah, we should sign someone to replace Firmino or compete with Firmino," you'd say, "Yeah, it's never going to happen. He's too good." But now, all in the papers, it's all about how Jota should be starting and Firmino should be dropped, and how we should rotate it a bit more, and how well we're playing, and how well Jota's playing as well. So I think that was their main focus, is to get that covered. But at the same time, I completely agree that we desperately need it now. We desperately need the cover now. I don't think you would have envisioned all of our centre halves getting injured within this time frame of the season, and I think that's exactly what the board and Klopp will have been thinking as well. They probably wouldn't have ever had this written down, but it's just sod's law that it happens to us, because it's just the typical thing that it happens to us of all teams.
Yeah.
Colin, can I ask you a question?
Go on, yeah, go for it, bro.
Would you start looking at the likes of a Burnley, for example, the season they're having? I'm thinking, how much could I get a Tarkowski, or not even Tarkowski's not top match, a Ben Mee? How much could you get a Ben Mee for? Start looking around the Premier League because realistically, he would be a fantastic squad player at this point. Like, he's Premier League proven, he's played in the Premier League, he knows what to expect. Is it worth looking at players like that?
I tell you what is my drawback with players like that, and again, I was speaking to Drifty in the summer about Lewis Dunk, because he's a fan of Lewis Dunk. Players like that are good, but you have to look at the system they're playing in and the system we play. Players like Dunk, Ben Mee, they don't play a high line. They don't really have a one-on-one situation with an attacker. They're kind of playing a compact system whereby their main thing is to make sure the ball's headed out, or even if the ball comes into the box, they're clearing it. Whereas our defenders are asked to do a lot. They're asked to play a high line. They're asked to break lines with their passing. If the ball comes in the box, not always you're just looking to hoof it out. Maybe you can bring it down and try and start an attack. I don't know if someone like Ben Mee or one of the Burnley players or someone like a Lewis Dunk could do that for us, plus the premium that they would ask for, because they know we're desperate and because their English would be stupid. So
yeah, mate, the
for me, it's
price for it. The price for an English player is a joke in today's market.
It's ridiculous.
Ben White, 40 million after one good season at Leeds is a joke.
It's crazy.
It's no wonder no one signed him. It's not a case of Leeds keeping hold of him. It's the fact that no one's going to be paying that much for him.
Nah,
It's
Leeds
stupid.
tried. Leeds tried. Leeds
Yeah,
offered
yeah.
30 million
Brighton,
for
Brighton
Ruben
kept hold of
Adams.
him.
Sorry, Brighton. Yeah, apologies.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was on loan at Leeds last season, wasn't he? In Championship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rams,
Yeah.
Upamecano or Alaba Rams, if you had to choose between the two.
I'd say why not get both? Like we need
Yeah.
as much cover as possible. But I've also like looked around for some other defenders, and I think one person that really stood out for me was that kid from Ajax, Terrace. I think that's how you
Pretty
say his
sure.
name.
Yeah.
I knew about him even when Matthias de Ligt was there. He was a very, very highly rated player. Ajax, he was on our books, and then we let him go to get some more experience. I didn't know that we were linked with him, and I think this player is a very, very, very good player. He can be a top defender in the future. Maybe someone like him, but the ideal signing would be Romagnoli from Milan, because he's a leader, and that's something that we need in our back line right now. I don't know whether he would join us because obviously Milan are flying in the Serie A.
He's a Milan boy as well, through and through.
He's a Milan
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
so he I don't think we'll get him, but if it was a choice between Upamecano and Alaba, I'd pick Upamecano. I think he's a beast. He's an absolute beast. He's a brilliant defender.
Fair enough. So now going to move on to another player who picked up an injury this week. It's been overshadowed obviously by the Gomez situation, but that's Trent. So he's going to be out for 4 weeks now. The international break takes up 2 of those weeks, but our first game back is against Leicester City. Who plays instead of Trent in that game? Because a lot of people have been saying Nico's not ready. Some people have been saying play Tsimikas, who's a left back on the right back position, and then you've got others who are saying just drop Millie in there, or Henderson, or Fabinho. Rams, I'm going to stay with you. Who plays right back for Liverpool in Trent's absence?
I think it has to be Millie. Like, I love Nico Williams. I think he's a great youngster, but Millie had played right mid for Man City when he was there. So for us, our fullbacks are basically right mids with their wing backs basically. So I think the guy that can go up the field time and time again, he can whip a ball in if he has the space and time for it. But I think that's our only choice. I don't like playing Tsimikas on the left. Playing Tsimikas and telling him to cut in on his left foot, and his right foot is not really that great. It's not ideal, but I'd pick Millie. I'd pick Millie over everyone else.
Fair enough. Bizzo, what about yourself?
Yeah, I agree. Milner, 100%. It's not even. I like Nico. I think he's got a lot of potential, but I think with the problems that you've got in the centre of that pitch and how disjointed it's going to be already, you need to just bring someone in who's just going to be solid and just do the job. And that's what Milner does for us. Wherever you play him, whether it's left back, right back, centre mid, anywhere, he'll just put a shift in, and that's what you need. Because we're at a time now where we can't bring someone in who's going to light up the game like Trent would do. You just need someone to get in there and do a job, in my opinion. I don't think Leicester, off the top of my head, they don't really offer loads down the left hand side. If I'm
they could play Harvey Barnes.
Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, he's all right.
What about you? Sorry, Bizzo.
Sorry, mate. Milner.
Stroh.
It has to be Milner. The frustrating thing is, I can guarantee Gomez would have played at right back and Fabinho would have gone centre back if Gomez had played there, and we would have been fine with that because defensively we'd have been a lot more sound. But obviously Gomez incident happens, but it has to be Milner. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Milner play there last year?
No, right back.
Yeah, he played there at one point last year. I know he was in centre mid, but I swear Trent came off in that game. It was
the season before that he played right back.
The season before that, Henderson played right back.
Oh, yeah,
we played him at home. It was Henderson that played right back.
I knew it was one of them. But the problem is you can't really take Henderson out of the centre mid because he's I mean, look at him against Manchester City. Like,
Yeah,
everyone's
he's a machine.
what a performance. Yeah, it's like, so you can't take him out. I think Thiago will come back in, but yeah, it has to be Milner because he's just Mr. Reliable and he'll do you a job.
Yeah. Speaking of Nico, though, guys, so just playing devil's advocate here. If he's Trent's right back, but yet Trent's out and none of you three want to see him start, did we miss a trick by not trying to get a right back in this summer as well and maybe sending Nico out on loan for some experience? Because this, in theory, should be the time where he comes in. Because if it was Robbo who was out injured, you'd be saying Tsimikas goes in. There wouldn't really be a debate or an argument about it. So have we messed up there in not getting a right back as well?
No, I don't think so. Go on, Joe, you go first.
No, I was going to say, I did want to see Nico go on loan. Want to see Harvey Elliott at Blackburn and look at what he's doing. He's lighting the Championship up. I would have liked to have seen Nico get that kind of experience and that kind of game time under his belt. I mean, look at Reece Williams. He was at a non-league club.
Kidderminster.
Yeah, Kidderminster. And it's like you can see that's had an impact on him, and you can see it's made him grow as a player, not just in stature, but like because it's a different style of football, and you won't get that kind of football at the Premier League. And same with Harvey Elliott, great talent, but he needs to be playing regular games. And yeah, I would have liked to have seen him go on loan. Obviously, we knew that we couldn't because we weren't even looking at a right back. But I do think we've missed the trick slightly. But yeah, I know what you're saying with regards to if he's Trent's replacement, he should be playing. But it's like it's a big game.
Not in this situation. Not in this situation.
My view on it is that I thought Milner would play right back because the problem we have with Milner on that left-hand side is that he's always predictable. He always cuts in on that right.
Yeah.
With right back, he doesn't need to do that. He just crosses it in normally, and he's a very, very good crosser of the ball. So I think he can do a very, very good job at right back.
It's a fair argument. It is a fair argument. I mean, Klopp's got some big decisions to make with that defence. Really has. So if things stay as they are right now, we're saying a back four of Milner, Fabinho, Matip, and Robertson, obviously left back.
Yeah.
Can that get it done against Leicester, guys? Can that keep Vardy quiet?
No. Simply no. I think any defense wouldn't keep Vardy quiet. His movement off the ball, his football IQ is just very, very, very good. I think we will concede a goal, hopefully not more than two. But optimistically, I think we'll get the win.
Fair enough.
If we set up like we did against Villa, then we'll get our asses handed to us. But the difference is when you've got Fabinho or Matip, you know that there's no pace there. So the chances are they're not going to play as high up the pitch, which shouldn't really suit Vardy as much because he's not going to be able to get in behind and have as much space. So that's me clutching at straws and thinking that we might do all right. But that's what I think anyway. I think Vardy is a great player, but I think if Fabinho can keep Werner shut for 90 minutes, I think he can definitely do the same to Vardy. So we'll see though.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So moving on to topics now. So it was Genie's birthday yesterday. Want to ask two questions around Genie. So one, is Georginio Wijnaldum a Liverpool legend in your eyes? And two, should we still be trying to sign him on a new contract? Should we really try and tie him down and keep him at the club despite his contract coming to an end this summer? So Stro, I'll start with you on this one.
I mean, whoever was in that squad that got us the title will automatically go down as legend. And then you add the Champions League on top of that, it's 100% he's a legend. For me, yeah, he got criticised, and rightfully so, for Manchester City's goal because he just left De Bruyne in the space and went to close the man, which was the wrong decision. Look at the game that he had in that game, the control, the dominance in that midfield when he was outnumbered. And you look at him in the big games, like there's a reason Klopp went with him, Henderson and Milner years ago, whenever it was a big game, because you know you can rely on him. Barcelona, like I don't need to say anymore. The man changed the game. It's
Yeah.
100%. And I said this to you. I said this on Football Terrace a number of times. Was I never wanted Thiago to come in if it meant Wijnaldum was going the other way.
Yeah.
I wanted to keep both. I still want to keep both. Wijnaldum has so much to offer. He is an unbelievable player. And good luck anyone going 50-50 with him and trying to get the ball off him. That man can shield the ball like his life depends on it. It's unbelievable. His dribbling, his control, he's just an overall great player. And I don't think he gets the respect he deserves from not just from Liverpool fans, but rival fans as well. So, yeah, 100%. I want to see us try and get his renewal sorted because honestly, I'll be devastated if he goes.
Yeah, well said, Stro. Bizzo, I'll come to you next.
Yeah, I echo what Stroll says about the title winning side. I think obviously everything rolls into the fact that it's been such a long wait for it. So I think you are automatically given a higher status than previous players. Are there going to be statues of Georginio Wijnaldum outside Anfield after he leaves? I wouldn't say so. I think he's a world class player, but I think and he will be remembered at Liverpool, and he is a fantastic player. It wouldn't be for me. It wouldn't be the end of the world if we lost him at the end of the season. If he moved on to something else, that's just my opinion. I think he's come in. He's done a terrific job for us. He's got us back into the Champions League when we finished top four. He played really well in the 2 seasons we got to the final, and then obviously in the league winning side as well. But I think if we had Thiago fit this season, I don't think he would be playing as much as he probably is right now. And I think that would probably have benefited him. That would have probably led to him leaving at the end of the season. Whether that changes now that he's getting game time, I'm not sure. But I think it's a win-win either way. If we lost him, we'd have to replace him with someone equally as good, which I think we would do, because I have full trust in the ability of the scouting team and the recruitment side of things, as shown with regards to bringing Jota in and obviously capturing Thiago for the fee we have done. But if he stayed, he's a great asset to have, and as Stroll said, you can bring him on, he can change a game, he can hold the ball up, you're not going to get it off him, he can like dictate the tempo a little bit as well. So it's a win-win situation for me.
Fair enough. Rams, yourself, bro, what's your thoughts? Legend, new contract, Genie?
I think the other guys are not gonna like what I'm gonna say. I love Georginio Wijnaldum. I really do, but I feel when you look back at the plethora of Liverpool players that there is, I think he'll be on the same level as a Luis Garcia and a John Arnorisa. Like they're cult heroes rather than legends.
Don't ever respect John Arnorisa ever again. I will walk to your university.
Like for me, legends are like players for me that have stayed at the club for a very, very long time, and they sort of have a feeling for what the city's all about. Like you got your Gerrard, your Hansons, your Carragers, but I'll say he's a cult hero. But if he stays for another like 3 or 4 years, then I think he might go down as a legendary player. Now he's a cult hero.
Here's the question, right? So you look at legends, yeah, and you look at legends, and then you think of legendary moments, right? So for us,
he's got a lot,
and key moments, right? So his equaliser against City at Anfield when we were in the rebuilding process was a big moment. Middlesbrough, where he scores the goal, which gets us back into the Champions League, huge moment. Roma away in the semi-final. Barcelona. They are legendary, iconic moments for Liverpool fans for the past 4 or 5 years. He's somehow involved. The man, like, you can't downplay that. Like, the man never... I mean, the guy never scored an away goal for Liverpool until that Roma. And that's effectively what sealed the Champions League final for us. So, yeah, for me, he don't get me wrong, I agree with Bizzle, there's not going to be a statue of him. But, like, come on, Ram, like, come on. Like,
Look,
we need to have a word off air. Like, come on.
look. Well, the players that I grew up with, like the Luis Garcias, they had moments as well. Like that ghost goal, that goal against Juventus, that amazing volley that he scored against Buffon. Like they've had moments. If Wijnaldum stays for another 3 to 4 years, then definitely. But for now,
I don't want him in 4 years, so he'll be 35, won't he? 34.
Yeah, but
Bizzo's harsh tonight. Bizzo's harsh tonight.
So it's too old. That too old. Well, I know. Obviously Milner, but like Milner's like a freak in terms of fitness, in my opinion. I don't think Wijnaldum's the same player, but I think in 4 years, no, in the bin.
Genie's a very he's a very physical guy at being. Like he's not a big, like he's not Wesley Sneijder, is he? Like he ain't gonna be like that after he retires, is he?
Yeah, because if he was Wesley Sneijder, we'd be getting linked with United every day, wouldn't you?
No, I think I'm with you, guy. With you, I don't think he's a legend yet. He could become a legend, but I don't think he's a legend just yet. But he's definitely that tier just below.
He's there.
Whatever name you want to give it, he's just that. But if I'm going to be honest, I would like to see him get a new contract. I would like to see him stay, even if it's for another couple of years.
Yeah, like 2 years.
I'd just like to see him stay. Because I know what you're saying, Bizzo, about the age, but I think that's becoming a bit of a myth in football now. Because you look at players like Thiago Silva, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi. These players are playing longer. I mean, before we used to say when a player hit that 30, boy, they're on the decline. Whereas now, players at 30, they're starting to come into their peak. Vardy's another example. How old's Vardy? 33? He still beats most defenders for pace. So,
oh no! Guess who's in chat right now?
Who's that?
Dave,
and
he's just oh my god.
Who's Dave? Enlighten me.
Wait, Callum, you've never had the pleasure. Imagine Monster, but smaller, skinnier, and more crazy.
I don't know if I can imagine that.
Right. So, for example, the sky's blue. He will argue that it's not blue.
Okay.
Get him in.
Okay.
But just to be clear, right? I think if you're gonna put it player to player, Georginio Wijnaldum's on the same level as a Daniel Agger, if you get what I mean, in terms of status within the club. That's my opinion right now.
Fair enough.
Who's a bigger legend?
Next question.
Bigger legend right now, Georginio Wijnaldum or Xabi Alonso? Who's a bigger Liverpool legend right now?
I'm not answering.
If Wijnaldum leaves in June, who is the bigger legend, the bigger Liverpool legend?
Oh my god! Then the
better player is Xabi Alonso, but for Wijnaldum's won a Premier League and a Champions League.
Oh no, but Strode, this is the thing that hurts as well. Xabi Alonso didn't want to leave Liverpool. He didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay. I would
never ever forgive Rafa Benitez, right, for trying to replace Xabi Alonso with Gareth Barry. That's a whole different.
Yeah.
I could do a whole video on that. We could do a 2-hour long show on that. That's how bad of a decision that is. We could. But Wijnaldum won a Premier League.
It's Xabi, bro. It's got to be Xabi.
Xabi's a bigger legend. That's better legend status than Wijnaldum.
Oh, yeah, no,
regardless of.
I'm just trying to back Wijnaldum to a bit. Words can't describe how much I love Xabi Alonso.
It's the likability. The thing is, Xabi Alonso, when he wanted to leave Real, he wanted to come back, but obviously we didn't want him then. That's the thing. It was just
the way I look at it. If Xabi Alonso was at his peak in this Liverpool team right now, we'd have still won the league and the Champions League. Probably more.
We would have won a double.
Yeah, we probably would have won even more. Look, I love Genie, but Xabi for me is one of the best players I've seen in my lifetime. He was a conductor, and he did it for club and country. Remember what he did for Spain as well, World Cup, European Championship. Like the guys, for me, Xabi Alonso is something else.
The guy behind Xavi Hernandez and Iniesta, bro, the unspoken guy. He's just an incredible player.
Genie's special, but Xabi Alonso was something else for me personally. Even this kit I'm wearing, like this was Xabi Alonso's season. Like this was a season where he's just tearing it. tearing
Hey, you're not gonna sit on your rocking chair at 70 years old and say, "I tell you what, there was a player in my day who's called Georginio Wijnaldum." You just wouldn't say it. You'd say it with a Javi Alonso. You wouldn't say it with. You wouldn't say, "Oh, remember Georginio Wijnaldum back in 2019, 2020." He's a good player. He's a good player, but that's a yeah. I think legend status is a bit premature.
Give him time. Give him time.
All right, so staying with midfield, guys. So after the international break, Thiago and Fabinho should both be back in the squad, fit and ready to go. With those two coming back in, it's a welcome return. But it also brings about a slight headache for Klopp and who he picks. So if I was to sit here right now and tell you, right, Leicester's our first game back, I need to know how many midfielders we're playing and who's the starting choice. Who would it be and why? So, Biz, I'm going to start with you. Are we going with a 2 or are we going with a 3?
I'd probably go with the same setup in terms of Genie and Genie the legend and Henderson in centre mid. And then I'd play the same as we did against City with the 4 up front, because I think Leicester would really struggle against that. And when we went back in the second half against City, I just thought it just went appalling for me.
Yeah, it went flat.
I just thought we lost all our spark. It looked like everyone was running through treacle when we were trying to chase after the ball. It just killed the game completely. Whereas I was really excited watching us when in the first half we were absolutely dominating. We could have scored a handful of goals. I think Leicester will definitely struggle with that pace up front, 100%. I think you can't drop Jota off based off his performance against City. I think Firmino is a good player to play just behind the front three, especially against a team like Leicester. And then you've got your rock solid centre mid of Henderson and Genie, who you know can do the job. And then you've got your experience, hopefully, in right back with Milner. And then I think that'll be the way to go for me anyway. I won't play it safe against Leicester, definitely not. I think if you fight fire with fire against Brendan Rodgers, you're always going to get goals out of the game. He showed it when he was managing us. He'd come out all guns blazing, and then we'd have like a Cardiff City coming out all guns blazing against us, and the next thing you know, it's a 10-goal thriller, isn't it? I think that's what you need to. That's what you're going to have to do, especially with what we've got going on at defence. I think that's true. That would be the way I'd adopt it.
Fair enough. Rams, your thoughts? Who's your starting midfield?
I think we're going to be playing a 2 in a double pivot, so it'll be Thiago and Henderson, and I think it would work really well because when you look at Thiago when he was at Bayern Munich, he had Leon Goretzka and there's his central midfield partner, and I feel like Henderson has a similar qualities to Goretzka. He's very, very powerful. He's a very good hard worker. He's a very hard-working player. So I think those two will just work fine. I think when Thiago comes in, he'll be as if he was playing for Bayern Munich all over again, with Robertson going up that left-hand side, and you've got a midfield partner who's the workhorse in midfield in Henderson. So it's got to be those two.
Fair enough. And Stro?
I'm going to upset a lot of people here, right?
Here we go.
I agree with Bizzo. I agree with Bizzo with that's what I think we're going to do. I think we'll stick with the same formation. Firmino has to be dropped. Has to be. He needs a rest. He just needs taken out of the firing line. Like, I'm sorry, but 20 seconds into the first half, he gets put through. You either lob it over the keeper or you lob it back into the area where Mane and Salah are to tap it in. He doesn't know what he's doing. Like, he's trying to take it round him. There's no room to take it round him. Ederson's practically on his toes. You do one or the other, and it's just like you can tell it's having an impact on him. You can tell he's not the same Firmino. You can tell the confidence has gone.
Sorry, just to add to the wounds, he done it before. He's done it before. It's a carbon copy of the one he scored at Anfield.
I know, and it's like, and then this is the thing. It's like, listen, we've seen it with historical strikers. We've seen it with strikers where they hit a bad run of form and
Say it to his face.
it's difficult. Listen, I understand Liverpool fans absolutely love him. I absolutely love him, but it's like I've seen strikers historically over the years go through bad patches and struggle. And some of the times you've seen Fergie do it, they just take you out the firing line, and he needs that break. I can't stress it enough. Do I think he'll get the break on when we play Leicester? No. I'd play Thiago, Henderson, and Wijnaldum. I'd just go with them three up front. I just don't think that's going to happen. I just think he'll keep the same system. And listen, it could work wonders because, like Bizzo said, you've got Johnny Evans at centre back. You've got a newly formed. So it's a case of defensively we're not great. Fight fire with fire, and that's what I think we'll do. But yeah, for me, Firmino needs to come out.
I've got something. Why not play Georginio Wijnaldum at that number 10 role? Because Klopp's done it before, where he put Genie in that Firmino role.
He plays for Holland
as well.
He plays for Holland as well. Like he's an incredible attacking midfielder. I don't understand why he doesn't play Genie in that number 10 because he's so potent for the Dutch team.
I think Genie and our system playing the number 10 because what Genie is as a 10, you've got two types of 10. You've got your David Silva type 10 who won't get loads of goals, but he'll just assist everyone. And then you've got your Genie type number 10 who won't really get many assists, but could pop up with quite a few goals. I think if you're going to play with that front three, you need an assister as opposed to a goal getter. Obviously, if you can have a player that does both, then you're living in a dreamland. But I think ideally you need a creator, which is why I don't think Genie necessarily plays as a 10 in our system often. Like when we've seen him do it, for example, the Barcelona game, obviously he's pretty much unplayable sometimes. But to do it in a Premier League week in, week out, I don't know if it would work. I don't know. But I get where people are coming from.
I just think that Firmino behind that front three, if he persevere with it, it'll come good eventually. Like we signed Firmino as a centre attacking midfielder from Hoffenheim, wasn't it? I think, and his first season was incredible, and he's been slowly pushed forward and forward into that 9 role, which people obviously question a lot, and he gets a lot of stick for it. But I think dropping him back, having all that in front of him, it'll just change. It should really boost his confidence a bit. And I think after one game dropping him, I don't think it's the right thing to do. I'd definitely start him, whether or not he's playing. I don't agree with bringing him off and sitting him on the bench because like he needs showing that he's not playing good enough in that position against City. You can't. That's his first game in that role when we played those three up front.
But like I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about his overall game. Look at the Everton game as a prime example. He was coming into the pockets of space, and then you see Salah and Mane playing them kind of runs or making them kind of runs. He wasn't finding them with a pass, and it's like Callum, you'll be able to tell me this better than anyone. I'm swear I heard Drifty basically coming round and turning around and saying that he's got to the point where at times he feels like he's noticed the fact that Salah and Mane aren't really passing him the ball that much. Like, you look at his overall game's just not the same. He's not the same player. Like, I'm talking about the Firmino where he'll play a no-look pass and it'll go through neither needle. Like, his overall game's like, he's just not been the same. Everton, he was poor. End of last season, he was poor. And listen, I love the man to death, but one goal at home in the Premier League for the champions, that's not good enough. And it hurts me because I absolutely love Firmino as a player, but even last season, like he came on against Newcastle, changed the game. I've not seen that from him this season, and that's what worries me. Not in the system or anything like that, just his overall game is just massively impacted.
Yeah, I've got to be honest with you, Stro. Hearing you say that, it's hurting me. I'm not going to lie. Do you know what it's like? It's like, you know, when you've messed up with the missus and she just lists all the bad things you've done in a time period and you've got to sit there and take it. That's what it feels like you're doing, Stro. Because anyone who knows me knows Bobby's my favourite player at Liverpool. And to see him playing the way he's playing, it breaks my heart because when he's on, he's such a delight to watch. But as you said, he's just not been right for a little while now. And the goal thing has never really annoyed me. The whole goal thing and people saying, oh, he never gets enough goals, that's never been an issue for me. because I know his overall performance always stands the
Exactly.
test.
It's
But
that
now
Samba
it's
flair.
dropping.
It's that Samba flair that we used to seeing all the time. The
Yeah.
flicks, the flair, the tricks, the passes. Like
Yeah, but you've got to remember that system where he played up top with Mane and Salah either side. It became so predictable for teams. Like every team could guess how they were going to line up against us. They knew how to really like nullify him up front and isolate him, so he didn't get the opportunity to do that. And now you've put him in a position against City where that flair was there. We were all over him. We should have scored 1 or 2 more goals than what we did especially in the first half. If you persevere with that, where you spring in these tactical surprises on people that you're playing, especially with teams like Leicester. I mean, doing it with City straight off the bat, that's brave in itself, but it was working. And then when we went back to the old way in the second half, everything just went dull again, because that's how City will have prepped to play against us, and that's how you free Firmino up in my eyes. You put him in a position where he's got that opportunity to actually do it, and I think playing him in that role again against a lesser team in Leicester will hopefully he should flourish. And then if he doesn't, then that's when you go, right, you need to sit out for a bit because we're not seeing the confidence and he's definitely lacking the confidence and looking for passes for Mane and Salah. That's what he's been doing for the last 2 years, and it has worked effectively. But as a manager, if you can't work out how we were going to set up when we play them 3 up front, then you shouldn't be in a job. You should know you should know how to set up against Liverpool's front 3 every single, because that's what we did every single week. We did it every single week. And I know there were games where we trouted people, and there were games where we won 1-0, but we set up exactly the same up front, and that's why we started to struggle, because people like Aston Villa's a prime example. Like, we could have all the firepower in the world, and we set up completely differently to nullify us up front, and then they just caught us on the break, and it was a joke. And that's why. But you bring a change in like that, and then Firmino will flourish from it.
But my point is it's not even about, and I completely agree with the fact that we play the same way. Because me and you have spoke about it several times. It's not even that. So we look at the Villa game for a prime example, right? They were getting through us so easy because the press wasn't there. Yeah. Why was the press not there? Who's the first point of call when it comes to the press? Firmino.
Bobby,
his press wasn't.
Mane as well.
You know what I mean. But like Jota, you didn't really notice the difference with Mane being there or not being there, because everything came down that left hand side, and we looked good down that left hand side. Defensively, though, if you go back and watch that game, there was times where Mings would have it, where that Consa would have it, or whatever he's called at centre back, and Bobby's press was non-existent. And it's like he's getting through us time after time, and then that's where the mistakes come from. And it's like even that part of his game's not been the same. He's picking the ball up and he's getting dispossessed. I've not seen Bobby lose the ball this much by getting the ball nicked off him by a midfielder in the past 3 years. That's what concerns me.
You have to take in the circumstances of what's going on this year, like how many games we're playing all the time. Like, and when you're playing players constantly, I feel like I'm watching Liverpool every 2 days on telly, and it's like
it feels
it takes its toll, especially with our team, right? Because you could tell as soon as Klopp came into our squad, all he focused on was fitness and getting us to run. And then when our first game against Tottenham, all we did was run, and we'd never run like that before. And then as the season progressed, we were absolutely knackered, and you could tell, and we were drifting off towards the end of the season because we're all knackered. And then as we've progressed and our fitness levels have improved, we've got better and better. But now we're at this stage again where we're playing so often, and he's having to play the same players again and again. Like, I reckon in an ideal world he'd be resting players left, right, and centre. But with all these injuries that are also being caused because of the circumstances we're in, we're just trying to like keep going through it, and
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I said at the beginning, give him a rest. He needs a rest. He just needs to be taken out the firing line, because he's one of the players that's probably played the most. Same with Robertson. Robertson's not a time for a rest.
Yeah, from that perspective, I get that. Yeah, 100%. From a confidence perspective, I don't think you take him off, because I think he's too much of an influential player on his day, and I think he's starting to get the stick now that big players are getting at other clubs, and being asked why he's not performing, and I see it every time when you talk to a fan, any other fan that's not a Liverpool fan, they don't know what Firmino does, and it's like, well, you don't watch him week in and week out, you don't know what he's capable of, and it's the most frustrating argument you can have with another football fan.
Yeah,
definitely. Believe me, I've had loads of those arguments. So Bizzo, I definitely know where you're coming from. But guys, we're gonna wrap up for this episode. It's been lovely being back. I presume we'll be back next week. It's still international break. Hopefully this time next week we won't have any bad news to be speaking about. There won't be any more injuries. I pray to God there's no more injuries. We just enough's enough now. Like, leave us alone, innit? Like, just go focus on another team now. But yes, people, massive thank you to everyone who tuned in. Make sure you support the Football Terrace. Make sure you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Go and check out Bizzo. Go and check out Rams. Go and check out Stro. Make sure you support them. My name's been Callum from Coppish. This is That Liverpool Show. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, everyone, and we'll speak soon. Take care.